Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA, presented by Land Rover. It's the finale against the Pirates. And what a night it was last night as Julio Urias on Mexican Heritage Night. The native of Mexico took a no-hitter into the seventh. Dodgers had a 2-0 lead in that game, but it disappeared. The Pirates came back, took a 3-2 advantage. In the bottom of the ninth, Cody Bellinger tied it with a base hit, and then Austin Barnes scored Ross Stripling all the way from first to win it 4-3 in dramatic fashion. And it's just the latest chapter in what has been a really fun stretch. Joe Davis or Hershiser, Kelly Tennant joins us in a moment. They've won 9 of 11 now and have a chance tonight to win 5 in a row for the first time.
They've been hot. They've been on a roll. You get on a roll, you need all the spokes in the wheel, and it has started to fire in the right order. Starting pitching is going deeper. The bullpen is filling their role. Kenley Janus, the end, has been absolutely perfect. And you know what? The power has come from the offense and the consistent hitting. 7 out of the last 10 games, double digits in hits.
Sobering news, though, today with Andrew Toles, and for more on him, we go down to Kelly.
Absolutely, Joe. Andrew Toles went all out last night and unfortunately will miss the rest of the season because of it. He tore his right ACL, as we found out this afternoon. I talked to him earlier today, and he seems to be handling things well, approaching it with a positive mindset, saying he can't get too distraught about this. He said he should be ready in about 6 to 7 months, so just in time to get a regular offseason and be ready for spring training next year. But a huge loss for this group, guys, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and everybody thinking of Andrew as he goes through this, trying to come back. Everybody looking forward to having him back next year, and everybody hoping that tonight is as fun as last night was. They're Stripling at first and 2 outs. Chris Hatcher begins to warm as Austin Barnes comes up. Lines one into right center, a base hit. How fast can Ross Stripling run? He hits third and comes home fast enough. They tie it in the ninth and win it in the 10th. brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. Chase Utley starting at first base tonight. First time in 2 years he's made a start there. Just sliding over one spot as Dave Roberts shuffles things around with the Andrew Toles injury. Joe Davis, Orel Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, Dodger Stadium, series finale between these teams. And the Pirates come to bat with his starting lineup. Presented by Honda. Josh Harrison was their best hitter overall this season, but without a hit in this series. Then Cervelli in the 2 spot. First time he's hit there. McCutchen the 3-hitter. Polanco the cleanup man. Bell hits 5th. Then Osuna, Moroff, and Mercer in front of the pitcher Chad Kuhl. Orel Kenta Maeda through 5 starts had an ERA above 8. His last 2 starts, 3 earned runs total.
When you have that slow a start, you make some adjustments, and Kenta has made those adjustments. One, in his delivery. We'll see what he has in store for us tonight. Will he go to the shortened movement with his arms and not go completely over his head, stay close to his chest, and stay more compact? And how often will he throw the new cutter? That's a good pitch for him, and it's really broken him out as far as getting that movement on the fastball and getting in on lefties.
He said his last start Friday at San Diego, called it an interesting night. Went 5 innings, and he said for him that's too short, but he feels like he's getting a better feel for his stuff each time he goes out there. And he does tonight for the 8th time in 2017. Off we go as strike 1 on Josh Harrison. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Maeda sticking with the glove in front of the chest in the wide, and Harrison loops a fly ball down the left field line that'll sink in for a base hit. He makes the turn. Bellinger's throw to second is late, and Harrison starts the game with a double.
Wasn't hit very well off the end of the bat, and because there's no velocity here, it doesn't get to Cody Bellinger very quickly. He gets to the ball as soon as possible, makes an accurate throw, but Harrison just runs too well. You see him bust out of the box. He's hustling all the way, and he covers some ground with each stride. Pretty routine double.
First hit of the series for him. And this Pirates team that's lost 3 in a row, dropped 7 of 10. And has one of the worst offenses in baseball as far as runs per game. And after all, that's the bottom line. Trying to generate something against Maeda quickly. The catcher, Francisco Cervelli, takes ball 1 after squaring around momentarily. Hitting second for the first time this year. He's a high on base percentage guy throughout his career, and as he dealt with a foot injury over the first few weeks, that had deserted him. But it's come back lately, and Clint Hurdle deciding to reward him with a trip up near the top of the order. The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Didn't miss by much with a fastball.
It's always hard as a starting pitcher to give up that leadoff double, and all of a sudden you really haven't found your legs on the mound, and you're forced to start trying to make pitches before your sights are set.
The 2-0. That one's out, ball 3.
One of the goals is to prevent the runner on second from getting to third, but if you pitch to a point where that is your primary goal and then the inning can spiral away from you, sometimes you just have to take your medicine this early in the game. Maybe you forget about the guy on second and just start the game over.
3-1. Cervelli on base 22 of the 24 games he's started. Former New York Yankee, now in his 3rd season with the Pirates, signed an extension with them after a huge first year in Pittsburgh. Called that day that he signed on the line one of the greatest days of his life. someone who was a career backup in New York, brought to Pittsburgh to replace Russell Martin. On 3-1, Cervelli swings and pops it to center. Jock Peterson settles under it. Harrison ready to tag. Here comes Peterson's throw to third. He airmails it, but Maeda perfectly positioned in the backup.
Jock laughing about that one. He was trying to get everything he could into that throw, and he's laughing just because it really doesn't advance a runner any further. It's just a little bit of embarrassing, but that ball just slipped out of his hand. It's kind of like the breaking ball from the mound that you try and do your best breaking ball and it slips out.
Just a little more exaggerated when you're trying to throw it, what, 250 feet as opposed to 60.
It sure is. And you know what? Everybody forgets how much fun it is to play baseball for the big leaguers, too. That they do get a laugh out of things. Sometimes they have to hide that emotion as a professional, but they are having fun.
They're going to appeal at second. Harrison did tag. Harrison having some fun himself.
A lot of smiles on the field here with one out in the first.
Not many of them coming from Andrew McCutchen, though. And that could be said over the last full year. Had the worst year of his career last year. His OPS was 120 points below his career mark. Takes ball one. And that's continued this year. The numbers are even lower.
Hit the ball well last night. Looked like he was a little bit of his old self, both the left field and the right field.
2-0. You saw in that graphic a moment ago against Maeda, 2 hits, both homers, and only 3 ABs against the native of Osaka, Japan.
Kenta doesn't have an upper echelon fastball, so that might help McCutchen because of the bat speed being down.
Tries to lay off. 3-0. He's only 30. 5-time All-Star, former MVP. In fact, he finished in the top 5 in MVP voting 4 consecutive seasons. He'll have a green light if he wants it. 3-1.
2 3-0 pitches that Kenta's thrown at both sliders, so he's feeling pretty good about being able to get that over the plate tonight.
Not exactly sharp bite to it, but it was a strike, and so a 3-1. Catches the corner, and it's 3-2. And even though the numbers were good in his last outing at San Diego, when he gave up 2 runs over 5 innings, he was not particularly sharp. It helped that he was facing a Padres lineup that isn't very good, but pretty consistently missed his spots. His payoff to McCutchen produces a big strikeout. The bottom fell out of that one. 2 gone.
And that can fool a hitter when they take the hanger with just a kind of a get-over slider, and then they get to one where the bottom falls out. You see almost the same exact spin, but you get double the break and double the depth. Had McCutchen way out in front. Missed it by a lot.
So Maeda with a chance to strand a leadoff double here as Gregory Polanco marches up. As the Pirates have fallen well below expectations. Polanco's been one of the poster child's children for that. 22 homers and 86 runs batted in last year. No homers and only 6 runs batted in this year. Swings away, fly ball to right. Puig paused at first, now comes on and makes the catch. Giant swing, perhaps produced an optical illusion. But Puig able to come on and catch it. Maeda avoids a first inning run. Starting lineup brought to you by Honda. Jock Peterson, the first man to step into that leadoff role with Tolles out. Same 2, 3, and 4 we've seen in this series. Seager, Turner, Bellinger. Grandal hitting 5th. Chris Taylor in the 6th spot. Chase Utley 7th, and Yasiel Puig in right batting 8th. 24-year-old Chad Kuhl. He's from Bear, Delaware, small town outside of Wilmington. And the number is a little bit skewed because he gave up 9 runs in 1 2/3 against the Cubs. Other than that, pretty good.
Big fastball, hovers around 95 as an average, a hard slider, and a changeup that's not that much of an off-speed pitch. So the Dodgers will be looking for some very firm pitches and not a lot of break because there's no curveball or no real changeup with depth.
Left-handed batting Jock Peterson stands in and takes ball 1. And the reason I referenced the fact that Jock is left-handed is because Chad Kuhl is the worst pitcher in the majors against left-handed hitting so far. Bouncing ball foul, and it's 1-1. Take a look at the Carls camp from that first inning. This one sailed on Jock. He was able to have some fun with it himself, smiling afterwards. And then his buddy Yasiel Puig made sure that he didn't soon forget about it. 1-2.
A lot of laughs, and then Jock has to shake it off, get in the on-deck circle, and lead off the game here in the bottom of the first. A little bit more serious now that he steps in here.
Those are the smiles of a team that's won 4 in a row, 9 of its last 11. Hottest team in the National League right now. Cool pitches 1-2, and Peterson strikes out swinging. Think dives out of the zone. 1 gone.
Shortstop number 5, Corey Seager.
Up comes Seager. Had a base hit in that 9th inning rally last night. But even as the Dodgers have had this huge offensive explosion over the last week or so, they've done it without their best hitter. Seager just 5 for his last 29. Strike 1. And that's a good sign that you're able to produce the way they have. It included the best 5-game run in almost a decade. Mostly without number 5.
Frustrating for Corey, but very effective run for the Dodgers. And it really gives you a fact that you think that you can continue doing this because you know his bat will not stay silent for long. Others might cool off. Others will get hot.
1-2. Dodgers took the opener 12-1 Monday before winning last night in extras. Seager down swinging, and that's back-to-back Ks from Chad Kuhl to open the night. It said 92 on the gun, but had changeup action.
Yeah, it's a changeup that is not really that off speed. It probably gets the action almost like a Zach Greinke pitch. Oh, this was a 2-seam fastball that he just really got inside.
Justin Turner faced him twice last year, homered and doubled. Ball 1. Kuhl, who's 24 years old, made his major league debut against the Dodgers last year on June 26th on Sunday Night Baseball and beat Clayton Kershaw in his big league debut. 2-0. Gave up 3 runs over 5 innings in that start, and that actually was Clayton's last start before going on the DL with a back injury. Kuhl said he learned that night, I fit in here. I can pitch at this level. He pitches 2-0 and misses with ball 3. Out of making 14 starts last year, Kuhl did. And ERA plus, we talked about that last night, where 100 is league average. Anything above is better than average. Anything below, worse. He was exactly 100. So exactly league average as a rookie.
He has a big arm, and they're probably working on trying to figure out how to
develop a little bigger breaking ball, but stuff that he has is big league. That's a slider right there, and he throws everything hard. That's a 90-mile-an-hour slider. When somebody throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, usually the slider drops down a little bit more than that to 7-8 miles an hour differential. Only 5 right there.
Walks Turner, inning kept alive for Bellinger. Is that something he's going to have to change to have long-term success as a starter?
Well, the bigger your range is on your breaking stuff as far as changing speeds, then you don't have to be quite as precise. So if you stay in that tight velocity range, you're going to have more accuracy.
Here he comes to Bellinger. And a tailing fastball misses, ball 1. Bellinger tied the game in the 9th inning last night with a seeing-eye single to right. Gave him 15 RBIs in his first 13 major league games. One and one.
Hitters are always tinkering with their swings, and Cody, even in the midst of this hot streak, is still working to perfect how he feels in the batter's box. You think a young man comes up here and gets as hot as he's been, that we just leave him alone, but no, he's working and grinding away.
1-2.
You get results last night with the base hit, but still doesn't mean you feel like you executed completely when you hit a 6-hopper through the hole and you get a big hit for your team. You go back and you grind on it, because it's really, for these guys, more about hitting the ball hard than finding results.
Cool deals 1-2, and Bellinger fouls it back. And I think that's exactly what the look on Cody's face said last night. If you remember, when he got to first base, kind of tilted his head to the side as if to say, well, I guess it'll do. Isn't what he had planned on doing. Wasn't the caliber of contact he had hoped for. Dave Roberts said before the game today, Adrian Gonzalez is going to have to speed up that recovery some. Here's a 1-2. Bellinger hammers it opposite field, streaming towards the wall. Cody Bellinger goes deep again. Some opposite field power for number 6.
When he reads inside, he has a completely different bat path almost than when he reads this ball away. It's more of a chopping action. The hips kind of turn like he's going to pull the ball, but the hands stay back as the ball goes away from him, and he just drops the barrel on it. Tremendous separation between hips and shoulders to keep that power.
Grandal now takes ball 1. He was working extensively with Turner Ward during BP today, like you talked about, grinding away still. And there they are, immediately rehashing the stuff that they grinded on during BP, and he applied there in his first AB.
Yeah, there's just so much timing that they're working on, and it's not just timing of I'm reading a baseball coming at me, it's the timing of what they want to start in their swing and when they want to start it, so it gets in the proper sequence. And hitters are always working on that sequencing between lower body and upper body and their hands and what fires. And Cody and Turner have been working hard on it, and that's a lot better than a little seeing eye ground ball that he hit last night. The work from last night to today has paid off.
Now visit from Ray Searage, 2-0 on Yasmani Grandal. As we take a look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight on the Dodger catcher. Homered last night. You know, some of those 7 hits, we're talking about the production is there, but not necessarily looking the way you want. I think that'd be the case with Yasmani. There were a couple of bloop hits, some rollers that snuck through. Lines one to the opposite field base hit. There's been more like that the last couple of nights.
With a couple of bleeders he got a few nights ago, one jam shot right down the line for a double. All of a sudden, though, it takes the weight off your shoulders as far as statistics are concerned. So you get into the box thinking, I've got my hit, my 1 lately, my 2 lately. I feel better about myself, but I'm still working on the swing. But it helps you get on a roll.
Inning kept alive for Chris Taylor, who fouls it off. Strike 1. But Cool struck out the first 2 in this inning. And a walk for Turner, homer for Bellinger, and a single for Grandal.
He walked a righty, and then the 2 lefties that he has struggled against mightily got the hits.
Ball and a strike on Taylor. Anything you see in particular from him that would lead to those struggles against lefties?
To me, he exposes the ball pretty quickly to a left-handed hitter. He kind of opens up his front shoulder, and there's really nothing that they have to really consider it's going to be really in on my hands so they can look away. That breaking ball right there maybe is something that he could get under a left-hander swing. But if we watch that changeup that's hard, and we've watched the fastball that tails, everything's going to be working kind of away from the left-handed hitter. They can just stay there.
A 2-1. Rides up, 3 balls and a strike on Chris Taylor.
As a 24-year-old, he's still learning his mechanics, probably still trying to find some pitches that he can develop. And to me, right now, he looks more like a reliever, kind of a 2-pitch pitcher, and a little bit of a thrower. Not a guy that has a lot of finesse and as a pitcher that can get through the order multiple times.
Here's his 3-1. And ball 4 on Taylor. So 4 consecutive batters reached, and the theme continues. That is lefties hitting him, righties walking against him. 2 on, 2 out. Chase Utley to the plate. Utley doubled off the wall last night. It was so good to see. Felt so good for Chase watching that happen. But you talk about grinding away, putting in extra time. Brandon McCarthy threw a sim game today. Normally you have the last 2 guys on the bench come in and do that. Some of the younger guys on the team be the hitters for those sim games. Chase Utley volunteered to hit in Brandon McCarthy's sim game in an empty stadium at about 3:30 today. That's in, ball 1.
Chase is grinding away. You are so right about the selection or the volunteering of somebody that's going to do a sim game for his teammate. And a lot of times the hitting coach just assigns the guys at the lowest level of time in the big leagues.
One and one. I asked Dave Roberts, you ever seen a 38-year-old, decade and a half in the majors, volunteer for that? And he said, absolutely not. Especially not on a day when he's in the lineup, when that's not happening often.
As you get older, it gets harder to get loose, and it gets even harder to get loose twice in one day.
1-2. A double that he hit last night just barely missed getting out of here for his first home run of the season. And report from the sim game was that he had several good ABs against McCarthy, and you know that he was approaching those as if they were game at bats.
I don't think there's anything that Chase does at half speed. You know his mind is always engaged. You see that? That's a 91 mile an hour changeup, and it's just not enough to completely fool them. You throw a 95, 96 fastball with 91 on the changeup, you still have a chance to foul it off.
Here comes another 1-2. It's a cool step off. Last start was abbreviated for him. He had 3 scoreless innings, but then the rain came. The rain delay was too long, so Cool's night came to a close. That's Friday against Milwaukee. Is 1-2. Utley takes it in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Against Williams for Pittsburgh in game 1, they talked about a strategy of let's get to the bullpen early and set things up for the series. Well, they've got 31 pitches here, and Kenta Maeda has a 2 spot to work with. So 2 things accomplished for the Dodgers: break on top and get the starting pitcher an awful lot of pitches. get back into the Pittsburgh bullpen early.
And a result, Orel, of, like I mentioned, only pitching 3 innings last time. The time before that left in the 3rd inning when he took a liner off the knee. Another time was ineffective, so left early. He hasn't thrown more than 75 pitches in about 3 weeks. His 32nd pitch of the first is a 2-2. Utley swats a base hit to left. They give Grandal the wave, testing the arm of Osuna. It's cut off. The run scores before the tag. RBI single, Chase Utley. And the Dodgers with a 3 spot here in the first.
Nothing on the Cody Bellinger home run. Chase Utley drove in a run, and the run counts because the out was not recorded before Grandal touches home plate. There is no force play here. Chris Woodward raises him around and then back into second, touches the plate, and then touches the runner, Chris Taylor.
To an RBI single for Chase Utley. Last 2 ABs now. Double off the wall and an opposite field single. His bat will be needed even a little bit more over the next couple of weeks here, depending on when Adrian Gonzalez returns. Josh Bell leads off the second against Kenta Maeda, who starts him with a breaking ball, strike 1, and mentioned it right before Bellinger's home run when we showed a shot of Adrian. But Dave Roberts said earlier today that that slow plan, that slow rehab has sped up because of the injury to Toles. Bell tomahawks one on the ground to Utley at first, who will feed Maeda for the first out. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Kenta Maeda, part of this Dodgers staff, leading the majors in earned run average.
Leading the majors in earned run average. An outstanding bullpen, has the lowest ERA of the majors as a bullpen alone. And then the starters are now going deeper and deeper into the game, taking some pressure off that bullpen. So rested arms in the bullpen that are of high caliber. And now the starters are starting to show their wares.
Jose Osuna. And of course, a primary topic of discussion right now around the Dodgers is what happens when everybody's healthy at the same time in the starting rotation, because there aren't enough spots. Slider caught the corner, strike 1.
It's been officially announced that Ryu will open against the Rockies on Thursday, and then Clayton Kershaw on Friday. And new news that Alex Wood will for sure pitch on Saturday. And Sunday will be Julio Urias. But there's speculation from then on of what will be done. And I think we know for sure that nothing will be done out of the ordinary for Clayton Kershaw. As regimented as he is, and he has earned it many years over, of getting the day that he wants, either normal rest or an extra day.
Maeda gets his second K, 2 out.
So as the Dodgers watch the different outings over the next 5 days or so, and then talk to Clayton, I think that's when they'll make decisions about who's going to pitch when. And starting pitchers want to know early. They want to know at least maybe the day after they pitch, by as late as the second day, because they have to get into their program of when they're going to do their cardio, when they're going to do their lifting, how they're going to do their side work, how strong the side work will be. And so there's a definite feel and flow to getting ready for the next start.
Max Moroff, the 7-hitter. Ball 1. It's a good problem to have, but there have been a few guys that you could have made an argument to move to the bullpen, perhaps send to the minors, and they've performed so well. And I'm thinking of Alex Wood when I'm talking about this, but they've performed so well, it'd be hard to take them out of the rotation.
Yes, it would be. And really, I smile because I listen to talk radio an awful lot in the sports channels, and they've turned the Dodger depth into a controversy instead of something that's fantastic for the fans. They want everybody to debate that, oh, the roster's too deep and we have too many good players and so deserves to be in the rotation, shouldn't be shipped to the bullpen. And I can't believe we had Van Slyke in AAA and now he's up here. And it's like, okay, so if they didn't have a great roster, we would turn this into, oh, they're not doing a very good job building this team.
Diving play, Chris Taylor throws to first in time. And I tell you what, this team right now is fun to watch.
Military hero of the game. Tonight we're very proud to have with us United States Navy Senior Chief Petty Officer Judy Daniel, New Orleans. Senior Chief Petty Officer Daniel joined the Army National Guard in 1986 and served in Iraq during Operation Desert Storm, 159th MASH Unit, earning the Louisiana War Cross and an Army Commendation Medal.
Is hitting, but he flashes the leather at second to finish the last inning.
Wherever he plays, he has great range. You see his speed on the bases, but in the field, you see his breaks and then his speed. He's got great reaction time. And boy, what an arm that is to be going away from first base, not really getting a weight transfer and showing off the gun.
Dodgers brought 7 men to the plate in the first, so it's the 8-hitter, Yasiel Puig, to lead off the second against Chad Poole. Poole struck out Peterson, struck out Seager to start the game, but then a walk for Turner, a homer for Bellinger. Grandal and Taylor both reached, and then Utley knocked in the third run. A 12-1 win in the opener, 4-3 win last night in extra innings, and a 3-0 lead here in the second. Try to sweep a series for the third time in the last 4 opportunities. Puig attacks a first pitch fastball, strike one.
Joe, remember the noise coming out of spring training? How long will the Dodgers hang with Yasiel Puig? He's leading the team in RBIs. He's got his home runs. He's playing elite defense in right. And that kind of stuff has kind of calmed down. And Yasiel in some ways has gotten lost with all the other success that's going on around with all the young guys, with maybe not young guys, but lack of experienced guys, the Tolles and the Taylors and the Bellingers. And he is always must-watch TV, but he's not the center of attention as much now. You know, it's really a team effort, and the team isn't hanging on a daily basis on, hey, we need Yasiel to really perform tonight to win.
And that's reflected in the fact that he's slotted in 7 or 8 each night. You're not relying on him in key spots in the order. On 1-2, ball 2.
Really, maybe his most comfortable place on the team is to stay down there in the order and take the offense as like icing on the cake, and just know you have one of the best right fielders.
Shoots a base hit to right to open the second.
And we have seen guys in the lineup make an impact on a game from every spot in the order. Bellinger has caused damage down at the bottom of the order before they moved him up. Taylor has caused the damage down there before they moved him up. Guys coming off the bench. The Dodgers lead in pinch hitting and most hits from the guys that start on the bench. So you don't have to hit third to make an impact.
So now Maeda is up there in a bunt situation. In the air, right to Bell. 1 out.
Frustrating. You put all the work in. Kenta is a very good bunter, and maybe he'll pop one up like that once or twice all year. Bob Guerin gets out here every day early at the home stand and gets the machine out and has all the guys working on their bunting.
Jock Peterson, strikeout victim his first time, hitting leadoff for the third time. Andrew Tolles had settled into that role so nicely against right-handed pitching. Fastball in, ball 1. As much as it hurts the Dodgers to lose Andrew Tolles, it almost, you know, it hurts even more thinking about Andrew, who went through so much to get to this level. It hurts more. You hurt more for the person than you do for the team or the player. Peterson rips one on the ground to second. More off fields, turns and goes to second. One back to first, a double play. Magnificent from Moroff to Mercer to Bell.
Dodgers with the early lead in this one. Guys, we talked to Dave Roberts earlier today, and he said first base is going to be a bit of a shuffle and a mix and match until Adrian Gonzalez returns. You're seeing Chase Utley there tonight. You're also going to see Bellinger move to left field for a bit here. He said Logan Forsythe back in a week or so he'll be available as well. And then Scott Van Slyke back today and can play first base against lefties. And Joe, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Adrian working on a slow calendar, but that has been sped up a bit, so we'll see how long this one takes.
All right, Kelly. Ready to begin the third inning in a 3-0 game. Jordy Mercer, 8-9-1 for the Pirates against Maeda. Here comes Kenta. And a breaking ball for strike one. We kind of got cut off before you could follow up there, but just talking about hating it for Andrew Toles, the human being, more than anything.
It's so hard as a player and as a friend to have somebody go down like that and be out for the year. And he was really contributing and part of the chemistry of this club. And there's a lot of guys on the team to get credit for being a good clubhouse guy, but Andrew Toles is right there in the middle of it also, because they just love his work ethic and his quiet demeanor, and he's just one of the guys. But as a player, you have to turn the page and put your armor back on. You can't think about that could happen to me.
Off the end of the bat, it hits the bag. Utley twirls around, finds it, and feeds Maeda. Still plenty of magic in the old vet.
That's fantastic. This ball deflects. Now, how do you know that's where it goes? But Chase Utley has eyes in the back of his head. He knows exactly where to go. He knows he doesn't have time to glove it and then throw it. And no, this is not a throw he makes very often. But when playing second base, fielding a bunt, he might do something like that. So he calls on all of his resources and all of his experience to make a play he's probably never made in his big league career. Kenta with the open mouth before he stepped on the base, like, oh my gosh, he's got it.
Strike one.
We got to go back to that, guys. Kenta Maeda on the last step or two. If we get a foul ball to show that, he's got his mouth open like a fish with looking for a hook. It's like, oh, he got it.
Quickly 0-2.
Watch Kenta's face as Utley barehands it. Kenta's going to go.
Cool fouls it off, still 0-2. This is the first start for Utley at first base since 2015. 26th of his career. Almost exclusively at second. Dave Roberts asked him last night after Tole's injury, hey, would you be comfy playing some first? And he said, of course. But of course, Chase Utley said, of course. That's strike three over the outside corner, 2 gone.
To turn the page back to Andrew Toles, I think everybody is pulling for him, and it's going to be a long time. This is a guy who has to go through the surgery, then the rehab, and then hope to be back next year in spring training. And by then, you're actually going to a point where you almost have to earn your job back and really redevelop yourself as a big leaguer. So everybody knows how tough that is.
Josh Harrison started this game with a bloop double. Maeda has retired 8 in a row since. Ball 1. It's Harrison's first hit of the series. 1 for 9 now. Here's a 1-0. 2-0. Two and 1. Left field and another base hit for Harrison. Rest of the lineup 0 for 8. Harrison 2 for 2.
Same type of exit velocity on that one too. The double was just hit with perfect placement down the left field line. That one just hit at Cody Bellinger. Not enough velocity to get to him.
Yeah, it keeps the inning alive for Francisco Cervelli.
You mentioned that Cervelli was rewarded with moving up in the order, but he's always been a bat control guy also. Guy that's a complete hitter. Shows some occasional pop, but always been a guy that seems like he understands where to make a productive out. And so I don't see it out of the ordinary showing him in the 2-hole.
Randolph snap throws down to first late after a strike on Cervelli. It's in his 10th major league season now. 31 years old. Spent his first 7 years with the Yankees, now in his 3rd year with the Pirates.
Another example of how heads up Chase Utley is that Yasmani Grandal will take the risk of a guy who doesn't play first base but get all the signs for a pickoff, a backdoor pickoff, and I know Chase will be there once I give the sign. The game has to be really slow and you have to be in tune with everything, and so even an everyday first baseman might kind of check out on that every once in a while. 3-0 game early in the game. Hey, I got my hit, made a great play. But no, he's still locked in.
And he pulls a hidden ball trick.
The throw, the fake. Oh, if he'd have waited, yeah, see him say, he goes, oh, and then he just kind of gave himself a little expletive, like I should have just waited a heartbeat. He was coming off. And you see Harrison just jump right off there again. So Chase had already picked up on that fact that he likes to get back out on his lead. The adrenaline rush of diving back and being safe, he pops right up.
Keep an eye on that if he reaches again tonight. You know, Chase has banked it in the memory. 1-1. Cervelli, early on in his time with the Yankees in the minor league system, was really struggling. Hit a .190 in rookie ball. And the scouts that signed him after those 2 years of struggling sat him and his parents down, and they suggested, you know what, Francisco? We think you'd make a good coach. And had a conversation about retiring as a player and using his cerebral side to become a young coach. The conversation didn't last long. Down the right field line, Puig on the move, still coming, not going to get there, but it's a foul ball. It was barely foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good hustle by Yasiel. This kind of reminds me of the play that Andrew Toles got hurt on last night down the other line, where you're going to make a superior effort to catch the ball. And Yasiel pulled up in time there to not deal with the wall.
Harrison's a fun player to watch, huh?
There's a lot of energy in his body, and it just seems like he is just locked in as far as hustling, and he's got to be really good for their locker room and for their bench, because they are struggling and they need some kind of spark. To have him at the top of the order and to watch those mannerisms got to help a lot of guys.
Jam foul. Harrison from a baseball family, a couple of older brothers that played the game. His brother Vince Harrison played 9 years in the minors. Josh always tagged along to his games and his practices. And when the team was cleaning the field, he'd find somebody to toss him BP in the cage. Just as a little guy. It's actually the nephew of a former Dodger, John Shelby.
T-Bone is a world champion from 1988.
Cervelli gets under it. Either Puig or Peterson. It's Puig. And the inning is over. Harrison with a 2-out single, but that's all. And purchase a 5-game weekend plan starting at $20 a ticket. And if the Dodgers win all 5 games that you pick, you'll win 2 tickets to Fan Appreciation Day, September 24th, and be recognized in a group photo on the field. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. 3-0 game with the Dodgers in front. Here in the bottom of the 3rd. And we welcome inside Joe Davis, Oral Hershon. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. I just had a wrestling match with my headset.
I wish you guys could have seen it. These headsets have cords on it, and somehow his got wrapped around the chair like 7 times.
And they tell us we're coming up to the booth on camera, and I'm down here wrestling like I've got a spider web.
Yeah, this is about to be a one-shot.
I'm breaking a sweat.
Corey Seager leads off this inning, taking ball 1 from Chad Kuhl.
Well, that was a really good hit.
Was good. Yeah, a lot of good information we gave the people there.
Oh, my gosh.
Seager fouls it off, and it's 1-1. Dodgers got all 3 of their runs in the first inning against Kuhl tonight. He struck out Peterson. He struck out Seager, but then 5 consecutive base runners producing those 3 runs. Fly ball back of short. On from left comes Osuna. Call off the infielders and make the catch. The Seager's 0 for 2 and 1 gone for Justin Turner.
Number 10, Justin Turner.
Turner's now faced Chad Kuhl 3 times in his career. He's homered, he's doubled, and he's walked. Turner turns on one, left center field, but got it off of the handle some, and McCutcheon's there for out number 2.
As we walk Cody Bellinger up to the plate, let's take a look at slow-mo with Kona. It's just a sweet swing where it looks like it's not in sequence, but the hips have gone, but the hands are back, and that is a very powerful young man. And you don't make your best swing and you're still hitting home runs to the opposite field. Boy, it's going to go a long way when he puts it all together to right.
Takes a fastball for the strike. Those 6 homers and those 17 RBIs coming in his first 14 major league games. And 0-1. Pulls another down the line to right, hooking towards the pole. Cody Bellinger hits it just foul.
Well, this again is not everything he has, but it would have been enough. He goes down and elevates a ball down below his knees and just hooks it foul.
I don't know if you saw the replay going to break after Bellinger's first inning home run. There was a great shot of Dave Roberts, who looked to nobody in particular and shook his head and said, unbelievable, after Bellinger's first homer.
And it is unbelievable when you watch a swing that is not completely timed up, but you still see that kind of power.
Incredible is what he said, yeah.
Well, 64 degrees here, ball not really carrying very well, and he hits it to the opposite field with not everything he has.
2-2.
That's what Dave is referring to. You know, Dodger Stadium is considered a pitcher's park, and especially when the temperatures are down. Pitchers love to pitch here because this ballpark will hold mistakes. And it doesn't hold Cody Bellinger.
Down swinging, that one cuts in on him. And Cool wins that battle. On to the fourth in a 3-0 game. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new guacamole and bacon chicken sandwich only at Jack in the Box. Nuke, on this date in 1955, faced the minimum in a 3-0 complete game shutout of the Cubs. Gave up one base hit in that game, and he was immediately wiped off of the bases by Roy Campanella trying to steal. Nuke won 20 games in that championship season in 1955.
And to this day is still making an impact in the Dodger organization and the Los Angeles community, and we always love to see him around the ballpark. Continues to mentor a lot of different guys on the team.
Andrew McCutchen to lead off the fourth for the Pirates against Kenta Maeda. Strike one.
Nuke even mentors one of our broadcasters. That would be me. We are very close. And down outside the Dodger locker room the other day, just talking with Rich Hill and going over curveball grips from his day to maybe even help Rich Hill with his blister issue and different things that people ask him about, that he can just lend so much wisdom and expertise.
Maeda to McCutchen with a 1-1 offering. On the ground to the hold it short. Seager was playing there and gets him. We have seen time and again in this series the Dodgers' preparation as far as scouting spray charts pay off on ground balls.
Sure have. This is a base hit for sure. If Corey is not there in the 6 hole, he does a nice job with his footwork to break down his strides and get his feet prepared to throw that ball accurately across the diamond. He could have got there probably with 2 or 2.5 strides, but his strides would have been really wide and maybe make him off balance. And he and Chris Woodward have really worked on the length of his strides. Have a little choppier, smaller steps when he knows he can get to a ball. Have better balance.
Gregory Polanco with the bases empty and 1 gone. Ball 1. And a very specific defense for Polanco. That's the thing. Every single batter now has a defense that is uniquely theirs.
It's really interesting that when the shortstop or the second baseman plays directly behind the pitcher or slightly off center, and I think that's got to be something to do with exit velocity, the ball's going up the middle, because you have a pitcher there already. So those balls have to be hit pretty hard to get by the pitcher. So it's not just the spray chart of where a ball starts, but actually how hard they are hit in that area that I think that you put more fielders. Because when they're hit harder in an area, there's less range. When they're hit softer in an area, then you know that a fielder can reach them. And so I think they're getting more and more specific across all of baseball with not only placement, but placement according to the velocities.
Here comes the 1-1. 2-1. How different was it in your day? I mean, were there specific defensive alignments for specific hitters, or was it more he's a pull guy, he's an opposite field guy, you play him straight up?
Yeah, pull on the ground, you know, opposite field in the air, slight pull on the left side. You know, if he goes oppo, play him down the line. It was just so many more generalities and not as specific.
2-1. Polanco cuts over a breaking ball. 2-2.
I used to move my fielders with my eyes because of once you get ahead from a certain guy and you know your location is good, you can actually really guide a ball to a certain area if the guy's going to swing, because you know you're going to get him out front. You know you can get your curveball to a certain area, and you know he's going to hit it to the left side, so I've got to get more guys over there. If they get a hit in the other way in the hole, you kind of tap your chest like, that's my bad.
Line to the opposite field. Bellinger comes on and takes it away. Don't blink. You might miss something Cody's doing.
We talk about infield placement, the ball to Corey Seager. They were right there for this one. Well, Bellinger is in and towards the line, and that ball is hit very hard, and he can range over there. And being a left-handed thrower, the glove is on the right hand, gives you an extra 6-8 feet of range, and he did it all correctly. Missed a home run by about as far as he dove to catch that one.
Mm-hmm. A little Cody chant going. And you get a look here at how specific those plans are per hitter. Josh Bell bounces one to first. We'll talk more about that as this game rolls on. That was Chris Woodward's binder you were taking a look at. His position, he no doubt gave Bellinger a chance to get to that ball. Now time for the Arco Top Tier Plays of the Game, brought to you by Arco. And there have been plenty of opportunities to showcase the Dodger defense on Arco tonight.
Started off with a little tongue-in-cheek with Kenta backing up the Jock Peterson throw, but you finish it off with really some stellar adaptation from Chase Utley, Corey Seager's strong arm and good positioning, and Cody Bellinger's acrobatics. Top-tier plays brought to you by Arco were fantastic tonight.
Grandal took ball one from Cool, who's back home with the next one, and it's a strike, 1-1. Grandal a single his first time. Takes in 2-1. And we started talking about how detailed the preparation is defensively for the Dodgers, more than it used to be in baseball. Just play him to pull, play him straight up. Grandal yanks one into right center field. That's a base hit. Makes an aggressive turn and holds with a leadoff single. Now Chris Woodward's kind of the lead guy as far as prepping that stuff.
A lot of the information comes down from the brains up top, and then they have to start to figure out where to put the fielders and then how to communicate that. And it's gotten so complicated that we watch guys that have the laminated cards in their back pocket to kind of look at to see where I'm supposed to be. And then Chris has to not only communicate where they should be, but then cross-check it as the game is going on, pitch for pitch.
Chris Taylor off of Cool, ricochets to Harrison, and they get the out at second. Remember, Cool left a start a couple of weeks ago when he took a hard bouncing ball off his leg. Yeah, gets hit by this one that turns into a fielder's choice.
1-5-4 for one out at second base. Bad break possibly for Chris Taylor. He scorches this ball if there's nobody there, but there is a pitcher's foot. And so he gets a fielder's choice.
Dodgers 3 runs on 5 hits and a couple of walks against Cool. All 3 runs coming in the first. And Chase Utley, the man that drove in the third of those runs. With a single to the opposite field. After doubling off the top of the wall in his pinch hit appearance last night. Ball one. Time now for AARP's Getting to Know Chase Utley, who's in his 3rd season with the Dodgers. Came over in August of 2015. Now in his 15th major league season. Southern California native. Waits on this 1-0. Cuts through it, 1-1. Two and one. Saw a couple tweets last night. I thought it was interesting about Chase Utley's short swing. In this day and age when we can measure everything, I wonder if they could measure shortest average swings and where his would rank.
I think they probably could measure that. Somebody wanted to attack something like that. I'm sure they'll measure bat speed, or they could actually tell us probably bat speed. I know in my day they had devices in spring training that measured our bat speed, and they had flashing lights that would flash down a column, kind of like a race car driver's starting block. And then they would tell you then to swing, and you'd swing through these pattern of lights that actually measured your bat speed then and would tell you what was going on, so you could work on different hitting mechanics to see where you had the quickest bat, and did you have the balance you wanted and the vision you wanted. I'm sure today they can do that a lot more precisely. And that day they found out too, in those times they used to test us in spring training and bring in all different people from UCLA. They used to test our vision and found out that the ball players had better than 20/20 vision. That they measured us all the way down to as far as 2010. And they had increments of like 2012 or 2017. So they just didn't stop at breaks of 5. They actually went individual digits. And you found out if you could see a little bit better past 2020, like your different contact lenses that guys were trying. And so they're continually experimenting like that to find out that, you know, the best vision isn't 20/20.
A 3-1. Painted over the outside corner, 3-2. It's amazing some of the little differentiators between the best in the world at this and then just your average person that goes out and tries to play the game. That'd be one of those things, right? Amazing vision.
Yeah, that you can't, you know, we say, okay, you see that spin, and maybe it's somebody from off the streets that just coming to visit Dodger Stadium, and they get the backstage tour, and they've done that here. Where all of a sudden they can, I don't see that spin. And the big leaguer's like, what do you mean you don't see that spin? It's right there. It's pretty easy. No, yeah. I don't see that spin. Which then, you know, goes to revealing reaction time, because once you have the information in your eyes, do you have the speed in your hands? So all the different components of what it takes to hit a major league fastball or a major league slider. And that wiring starts to deteriorate. And at 38 years old, I know Chase is probably looking around the corner about when is it not going to be enough. The vision, the reaction time, the strength, the ability to recover on a daily basis. And that's what was so amazing about him volunteering to be in the simulated game for Brandon McCarthy today.
And it wasn't just going up there and tracking pitches, working on his vision. He was taking full at-bats against McCarthy.
The other hitter was Kike Hernandez.
It was another 3-2 from Cool. Instead of toss to first. Been a couple of close plays over there for Taylor.
Good base runners don't mind close, because they're trying to get out there on the edge, thinking about stealing the bag. So they don't want to have a lead where they get back easily, but are also thinking about stealing. So that's that half a step or inches at second base that they could be out or safe.
And at first with one gone, and another payoff pitch to Chase Utley. Runner goes again, and it's pounded to right center field. Polanco's not going to get there. He looks like the Chase Utley of old, and he's got an RBI double here in the fourth.
Energy on the bench, energy on the base pass, and a veteran at the plate that has found his swing. No more little dribblers to second or rolling over the ball to first. He's driving the ball to left field. He's driving the ball to right field. The ball's got some energy coming off his bat. Harder to defend and more hits.
It's a hit in 3 consecutive ABs for him. Average was below 100 before this little run. And he's at second with one gone for Puig.
About a foot more last night on the double. He'd be hitting for a cycle, looking for a triple in his next at bat. 4 at bats for a cycle. Only short by 12 inches right now.
Ball 1. Puig singled to the opposite field his first time up. Nomar never asked for time when he did this with his batting gloves. Puig was polite enough to turn back and ask Clint Fagan, can I have a second to adjust these? One and one.
Just erase that from your memory bank. That's the one that you don't want to start swinging at. That's the one that he and Turner Ward and Dave Roberts have really worked on philosophically. You almost have to just spit on it and tip your cap.
High High drive right center. Peeling over to Polanco to make the catch. Utley takes third, 2 out. Dodgers 4 runs on 6 hits and a pair of walks against Cool. And now Maeda to the plate with 2 gone. Fastball, strike 1. Chad Kuhl out of Delaware. Fouled off and it's 0-2. Went to the University of Delaware. A Blue Hen. 9th round pick of the Pirates, now in his 2nd big league season. He was a guy that plenty of teams acquired about at the trade deadline last year and then this offseason. Pirates didn't want to part with him though. They like his future. Maeda protects, will do the 0-2 again.
What a difference 3 starts makes for Kenta Maeda. Feeling good right here, up 4-0. 1-0 in his last 2 starts. Starting to feel like he's getting things together. He was close to being a candidate of being sent down for the first time in his big league career. Candidate to being removed from the rotation, maybe put in the bullpen. These things have a way of working out.
Kuhl's 1-2 and Maeda dribbles another foul.
You see Kuhl flash 98 right there on his 69th pitch. You wonder how he would pitch out of the bullpen when he only has to throw about 20 to 30. Could he take it up a notch and throw 100?
Maeda taps it. This could be a tough play for Kuhl. Just in time at first and dug out of there by Josh Bell. So Kuhl prevents a run with that nice defensive play. 4-0 after 4. LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Get incredible deals on a fuel-efficient RAV4 hybrid. 1999 on this date. Nomar hit 2 grand slams in the same game. Added a 2-run homer as well. First American League player to drive in 10 runs in a game since 1975.
And he got it over with in a hurry. Early in the count, he was swinging. Omar would say, why take a 3-strike game and turn it into a 2-strike game by taking the first strike? I'm ready to hit as soon as I step in the box.
Low 60s temperatures here at Dodger Stadium tonight. Series finale between these teams. Dodgers looking for their 3rd sweep in the last 4 series. They swept Philadelphia. They swept San Diego in the rain-shortened series, and with a 4-0 lead here, have a chance to do it to Pittsburgh. They've won 9 of 11 overall, trying to win 5 in a row for the first time this year. Meanwhile, the Pirates sit a season worse, 5 games below 500, and have dropped 7 of their last 10. Osuna, more often Mercer against Maeda here in the 5th. Clint Hurdle earning his paycheck this year with everything that's gone on with his roster. Started with Jung Ho Kang, ineligible to come to the United States from Korea because of a 3rd DUI arrest. He was an all-star caliber 3rd baseman for him. And Starling Marte suspended 80 games for PEDs. And then an injury to David Freese. Breaking ball, strike 1 on Osuna. Then you got the guys that are healthy, McCutchen and Polanco, all performing well below what you expect. Cue shot at first. Utley cuts it off, and a long shovel hits him on the move at first base for the first out. Kenta loves it.
Little West Coast offense play right here. Just kind of a flare coming out of the backfield. You got to throw it over the defensive lineman that's rushing you, so get it up and over him, and then your receiver makes a nice play. Keeps his feet in bounds.
Well done. Dave Roberts said the hardest thing for Utley playing first base as opposed to second, because it's a similar angle, obviously, same side of the infield that you're taking those ground balls from, but deciding to go after balls like that or not when they're kind of in between.
Yep, and you're approaching them from a different angle. So, you know, your read from second base is go get it no matter what. But your read from first is, should I go get it? And you've got to understand what you can get, and then is the pitcher going to get there, and what kind of a throw, and the whole timing of it. Chase Utley's got a very good baseball clock.
And then Utley so subtly walked up there and tied his shoe, took his time for Kenta to gather his breath. 1 out for Max Moroff. And Kenta starts him with a slider for a strike.
This game has really been a defensive highlight film for the Dodgers, including Chase Utley over there at first base with a couple acrobatic plays. That plays at short, at second, at first, and left field. An awkward throw in center, and a pitcher backing up.
This one gets by Utley. Taylor is there, and so is Maeda. It's all going right now, and everybody's smiling.
It's almost like a design play here. This is like go back to football. This is a reverse. We're just going to fake the handoff, go to you, and okay. Kenta, he's been being the best receiver possible. Just run the same route, just different guy throwing it to you.
Thank you, Chase says.
They're going to have some fun on the post-game show, illustrating all these.
Jordy Mercer, here comes Kenta. Ball 1. You know, Josh Harrison is 2 for 2 tonight. Everybody else for the Pirates 0 for 14. No walks. Very few hard hit balls against Kenta. 2-0. 2 starts ago, Kenta was good against the Phillies. Last start, the numbers were good. Kenta was not particularly good, but I think this might be the best we've seen him yet.
He's looked very sharp, other than the first inning when he came out of the bullpen and they got the double, but it wasn't really well hit. Then all of a sudden, it looked like he was having command issues, falling behind to 3-0 counts, using his slider to get back in. And the pitch that really got him on a roll was a man on third, less than 2 outs. McCutchen, 3-2 count, slider, struck him out. Seemed like that's when he started to really settle in.
2-1 on Mercer. Efficient. 55 pitches here, with 2 gone in the 5th inning. 2 starts ago, went 7 full innings against the Phillies. It was the first time he'd done that since around the All-Star break last year. One of only 3 times he's done it in his big league career. Catches the corner, and it's 2-2.
Kenta is about location. It's not about overpowering stuff. He does have a slider at times that just disappears. And really early in his big league career here, has had to reinvent himself a few different times to change sequencing, and now has reinvented himself with the new delivery of not taking the hands over his head, something he did back in Japan when he got off kilter, and then coming up with the cutter. He and Rick Honeycutt have worked on that since spring training, but in a side work a few starts ago, it really started to cut and be more precise, so they decided to bring it into the game.
Mercer chases for strike 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kenta Maeda. We're halfway home in a 4-0 game. Nothing. Bottom of the 5th inning. Start your weekend off with a bang at Dodger Stadium on May 19th when the Dodgers take on the Marlins. After the game, Friday night fireworks. You get to sit on the field and enjoy living in the 80s. Presented by Denny's. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions for tickets. Top of the order, Peterson, Seager, Turner. Takes off on cool. 2 balls, no strikes. Dodgers a blowout win Monday, 12-1. Last night, though, a weird, entertaining game. 4-3 the final. Big bouncer. Harrison cuts it off at third. Jocks the first out. And Ross Stripling, who scored the winning run in that game, Dave Roberts came out after the game, had told him at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, be ready. I may need you to pinch run tonight because of the way the roster was constructed with just 4 bench players. Dave always thinking ahead, thinking of every scenario. And so he joked around in the post-game press conference. Ross had 7.5 hours to get loose. Here's Seager. Ball 1.
I don't think Ross had a baby grand jump on his back rounding third, but it looked like maybe a small animal jumped on his shoulder. He had a little stutter step coming around the third that wasn't real graceful.
1-1. Well, he said he thought the ball was hit at Polanco and right, so he was busting it thinking, I'm going first to third on this baby. And then Chris Woodward gives him the wave, and he's thinking, oh my gosh.
Forgot to take a breath.
1-2.
And for Chris Woodward, it was good that he still had a head of steam coming around third, because third base coaches are making their decisions on the speed that you're coming in at. They expect you to maintain that speed, so that's how they're judging if you're going to make it or not. So you give them a hard run coming around second and coming into third, maintain your speed so they can make the judgment call on whether to send you. And none of that assumption of where the ball is and, oh, start to break your stride down. Just keep it going until I either hold you up or wave my arm.
Justin Turner now with the bases empty and 2 gone.
That was Austin Barnes' first walk-off hit of his career. The last man standing as far as Dave Roberts' bench. Yasmani Grandal was the one that Ross pinch ran for, so Austin was going to have to hit or have to catch for the game to continue for the Dodgers.
Turner fouls off the first one. How about this gem from Eric Steven of True Blue LA? And if you want gems, he's the guy to go to. Stripling was the first Dodger pitcher to score the game-winning run in a walk-off win since Sandy Koufax in 1965. Fly ball to right. Polanco has room on the track to finish the inning. That happened to be against the Pirates as well. Koufax walked with 2 outs in the 10th and scored on a Roberto Clemente error to win the game. Hansen pinch hits for him to open the 6th inning in a 4-0 game, and it's time for our unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Speaking of pinch hitters, the Dodgers third best in baseball in that category. The Cardinals absurdly good, hitting .432 in pinch hitting roles, but the Dodgers third best in the NL, are actually tied for second best in the NL with the Cubs.
And part of the theme and philosophy of Dave Roberts in the front office, always trying to keep guys relevant and in the lineup, alternating guys, getting them in there and keeping their swing sharp, and it pays off.
Hansen some success as a pinch hitter, 2 for 6 this year. Breaking ball, strike 1. Trying to become the first Pirate other than Josh Harrison to reach tonight. Rest of the Pirates are 0 for 15, while Harrison has gone 2 for 2. Oh, and 2.
This is when pitching is really fun. When you know you're locating the ball, you've got multiple weapons to go to that you're confident in. And you're up 4-0, and it's the 6th inning.
Looped into right center. Puig will get there. 1 out. And Maeda, having thrown 60 pitches now through 5 1/3. There's a chance here that he could pitch into the 8th tonight, which would be for the first time in his major league career.
And what a benefit that would be for the Dodgers. He put in a lot of work in the offseason to get stronger, to build his endurance, and also getting off to such a slow start, maybe getting used to the caliber of the bullets. Because when you do get that strength and you feel like a thrower because you can throw it a little harder and you throw it harder longer, and you forget that little bit of pitching that you need to do. And now maybe calming down and being more of a pitcher and hitting his spots and going deeper into the games.
Harrison smashes the first pitch foul. You know what else Kenta did this offseason? Made an appearance on a Japanese variety show. I don't know if you saw this video, but he pranked a youth baseball team, went to their practice dressed up as an old man, had the full thing, mask of an old man, and was blowing fastballs by him, posing as an old guy. Harrison to Turner at third. Nice pick. 2 up, 2 down. Tomorrow on an all-new episode of Backstage Dodgers, go behind the scenes as Vin returns for the Ring of Honor ceremony and take a look back at his trip to the White House. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, right after the post-game show tomorrow.
Do you have any more details on the punking of the youth baseball team?
I can tell you that you can find the video online. If you just Google Kenta Maeda variety show or Kenta Maeda punks youth team, it's great. He takes his mask off and these kids, the looks on their faces. Kenta Maeda?
Didn't Greg Maddux do that to
Chris Bryant this offseason?
Yeah. Both from Vegas, and he dressed up in disguise and just said, oh yeah, they brought him out for like a BP session to see how far Rizzo could hit the ball, and he was asking like for the guy to place it in a certain place, and then the guy said, well, let me try and just maybe even get you out here. You're hitting the ball good, and started jamming him and getting him off the end of the bat and swinging and missing. And Rizzo's seeing this guy that's all dressed up. Oh, Bryant. Yeah. Bryant's looking like he's, who is this guy out there making the ball move like this and throwing this curveball?
1 ball and 1 strike on Francisco Cervelli.
And Bryant grew up kind of idolizing Greg Maddux a little bit. And he always wanted to meet him and hit off of him.
2-1.
Not as easy as you think is to be a retired big league pitcher, and all of a sudden somebody asks you, hey, we got this great idea. Can you come out and throw batting practice?
It's a lot of pressure on you, right?
And I'd like a screen, too.
On 2-1, Cervelli jams a little pop-up into right. Puig comes on, lays out, and it bounced. Cervelli's aboard with 2 gone.
They'll definitely take a look, but the only thing that Yasiel is going to get out of that, oh, please don't have anything wrong with your shoulder. Full extension, the pressure of the ground as you bounce. The shoulder bone goes into the area where it is all held together, and you hope the bone doesn't run into some soft tissue that makes it hurt or break. Great effort.
Really close.
Yeah.
Clearly bounced, but really close to being under the webbing of that glove.
You see all kinds of injuries from those kind of dives, separated shoulders and all kinds of different things. He's so strong. Hold it together.
2 outs for McCutchen. The Pirates trying to climb back into this game here with a guy that has homered against Maeda twice in his career. But on the first pitch, a routine bouncer to Turner, whose low throw is caught by Utley. A 2-out single, but no damage, and 6 shutout innings from Kenta. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr. Left-hander Wade LeBlanc replaces Chad Kuhl. LeBlanc is in his 9th Major League season with his 7th different team. Started with the Padres, then the Marlins, then the Astros, then the Angels, then the Yankees. Spent just 1 game with each of those 2 teams. Back to the Angels for another stint in the same year. The Mariners again. And then finally to the Pirates last year.
Not about power with him. It's about location. Cutter, changeup, mainly the 2-out pitches. And of course, against the Dodgers, clubs love to bring in left-handed relievers.
Cody Bellinger, 2-run homer to the opposite field his first time up. LeBlanc starts him with a strike. They have the overshift on Bellinger. Is this from data in his first 2 weeks, or is there enough scouting at the AAA level and in the minors where they can develop this?
They develop it there, and then big league spring training, Cody had at bats. The sample is not huge. And then also, then you just have those veteran eyes to thinking, you know, this is the way we're going to pitch him, and this is probably, let me look at some of the data and what's going on, and this is how we should play him.
LeBlanc home with a 1-1. Bellinger behind it, 1-2. And with 2 strikes, they remove the shortstop Mercer, put him back to his normal spot. With the threat of the bunt gone. That one sneaks through the front door. A lot of movement from LeBlanc to get Bellinger for the first out of the 6th.
Mentioned that his out pitches are his changeup and his cutter. That was just an inside front door cutter right there that looks like it's going to hit Cody in the knee, but then cuts right back to the plate. It's part of the learning process for the young hitters as they face these guys for the first time, or maybe it's a guy they faced in AAA, but not a guy who's pitched in the big leagues this long. Cody's first look at him.
1-0 on Grandal, who is 2 for 2 tonight and 7 of 12 in this series. 1-1.
Boy, an early big series looming in Colorado.
Sure is.
4 games. Dodgers could leave there in first place if they do a number on the Rockies.
Rockies have won 4 of 5 after beating the Cubs today 3-0. German Marquez, a complete game shutout, or 8 innings of shutout baseball. 3-1 the count on Grandal.
That is not the plane the Dodgers are going to take to Colorado.
Good.
Really good.
And a walk for Grandal. It's been part of what's been missing from Grandal as he's struggled over the last few weeks. Dave Roberts saying that he's gotten too aggressive. Pitchers already tend to be scared of Grandal and his power ability, so rarely do they pound the zone. He's helped them lately by chasing too many pitches.
And now with the hot streak, as you mentioned last night, he's chasing pitchers out of the strike zone, and he's got to be able to take those and have discipline.
One out base runner and Chris Taylor up. One 1-0. Rockies a half game off of the best record in the National League. Nationals are 22-12. The Rockies are 22-13.
Four games in Colorado, plenty of opportunity for the Dodgers to put a dent into that small lead.
The Dodgers can hang on here. It would be 1.5 the deficit going into this weekend. 4 games you mentioned, 4 left-handed starting pitchers for LA. Strike one.
Ryu, Kershaw, Wood, Urias.
Taylor jams a liner to second, caught by Moroff, and they double off Grandal. So a double play finishes the inning, on to the 7th in a 4-0 game. Now for the Dodger calendar, brought to you by 76. Upcoming road trip, 4 in Colorado, 3 in San Francisco. Dodgers trying to solve the Giants. 4 of the Giants' 12 wins this year have come against the Dodgers. Joe Davis, Orr Hershiser, Kelly Tennant back here at Dodger Stadium. Julio Urias spun a gem last night. And Tamaeda doing the same in this one. A 4-0 lead as we go to the 7th. Longest outing of his career. And of course took a no-hitter into the 7th inning before Andrew McCutchen doubled into the corner. He was the youngest pitcher to take a no-hitter into the 7th since 1986 when a guy named Ed Correa did it. That's another Eric Steven note. Correa only pitched 15 more games in his career after that. Had some bad arm problems. Middle part of the order for the Pirates. Polanco, Bell, and Osuna. Strike one. As that thing rolled on last night with Urias, it got us thinking, man, he's trying for a no-hitter here as a 20-year-old. Wonder what the youngest guy to throw a no-hitter ever was. We got the answer, and it took us way, way back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Polanco. The Hoosier Thunderbolt, Amos Russi, back in 1891, was 20 years old and 62 days. And no-hit the Brooklyn Bridegrooms. It's the hardest thrower in the 1890s. In fact, he was partially responsible for them moving the pitcher's rubber back. Maeda to Polanco with a 1-1. It's inside, 2 balls and a strike. So when he threw the no-hitter when he was 20 years old, 62 days, he did it from roughly 50 feet. And 2 years after that, they moved the rubber back to what it currently is, 60 feet, 6 inches. Russi once hit a batter in the head, and it knocked him unconscious for 4 days. 2-2. They discovered him when he was 16 years old. He was out at the Indiana State Fair, just messing around. Won a bet. Somebody said, I bet you can't throw this baseball through that wooden fence. Said, okay, I'm going to do it. Fired the baseball straight through a plank in the wooden fence. And eventually a crowd started to gather around this guy, and he started charging a quarter to watch him do it. Little pop up left side of the infield for Turner, and the first out of the 7th. One of the people in the crowd happened to be a scout for an Indianapolis franchise, a short-lived franchise right there in town, and signed him on the spot. And Russi pitched 1 year for Indianapolis. That was as a 19-year-old. Then went to the New York Giants, threw that no-hitter, youngest ever to do it in 1891. Amos Russi, Hall of Famer now, known as the Hoosier Thunderbolt. 1 gone and the base is empty in the 7th. Maeda to Josh Bell. Strike 1.
Kenta Maeda doesn't have a no-hitter going, and he wouldn't be the youngest, but he's sure doing a job out there, throwing a shutout for right now.
Quickly 0-2 on Bell.
Great movement. You know, it's one thing to have movement, it's another thing to have it late. That pitch right there just looked like a strike for so long and then just darted. Tells you a lot about a pitcher's extension and the whip that he's getting right after he lands out front. Take a look at this pitch and watch how late this ball moves.
Something Nomar has talked about during the pregame show. Early on this year, he didn't think Maeda's pitches had that late finish. Little pop, left center. Bellinger will run under it, 2 out.
There's a difference between having good movement that starts early. It has a pattern that the hitter can pick up on. And once they pick up on it too soon, they can either hold up or they can gauge the movement and then square it up. And so the later the better. But Cody Bellinger looks so comfortable in left field. He looks so comfortable everywhere.
First one to Jose Osuna. On the ground is short, and Kenta Maeda on 76 pitches, 7 shutout innings. He's got a good chance to go the distance in this one. He'll pitch into the 8th for the first time in his career. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. The many faces of Kenta. Didn't take long for him to endear himself to his teammates and to the city last year as a rookie. Chase Utley starting the 7th, taking ball 1. And a lot of it, I think, was the raw emotion that he allows himself to show when he's playing.
He sure does. Hit the first home run of the year for the Dodgers last year. Got the silent treatment and broke out the smile when they all came over to congratulate him.
3 times in his career he's gone 7 full. He'll most certainly be out there for the 8th inning in this one against an overmatched Pittsburgh lineup. Ball and 2 strikes on Utley. And Utley, the best there is at having a conversation with an umpire and trying to get a point across and making sure that the 40,000 in attendance can't see it, don't realize that he's having that conversation. Into the hands, and he's the first out. Of course, there's that story about him
Right fielder
in Milwaukee
Yasiel
at one point last year, where Clayton Kershaw was getting squeezed, and Utley happened to be on the bench that day. A.J. Ellis was shouting back out to the field to the home plate umpire, you know what, Blue, Clayton's got to have these pitches. Chase stepped in and said, we can't have you getting tossed. We need you in there to catch him. So Utley dresses up like a bat boy, runs out to the home plate umpire, carries some balls out. Yasiel Puig takes ball 1. And disguised with a coat and the helmet on and everything, delivers those balls and says, hey, Clayton's got to have those pitches on the corner. That's a strike, 1-1. Turns around, runs back into the dugout, jogging a couple baseballs back. Coat still on, helmet still on. But he got the point across without A.J. Ellis or Clayton Kershaw having to risk their standing in the game in doing so. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. The king of subtlety.
It is. And I just love that story. So many things like that happen in baseball that people don't get to find out about them. And Chase Utley is the master of every detail of the game.
Number 18, Kenta Maeda.
So Maeda comes to bat for himself here in the 7th inning. Shares the laugh with Francisco Cervelli. Shows bunt, takes ball 1.
I hope he was taking all the way. You don't want to bunt for a hit when you're up 4-0 and they're going to let you pitch into the 8th with your pitch count in complete command.
Had a swagged out leg kick that time.
Wrenched his back a little bit right there. We've seen him smiling all night. There was a little wincing pain.
1-2. Rolls 1 to second, picked up by Moroff, and that does it for the Dodgers in the 7th. On to the 8th. Maeda will head back out there with a 4-0 lead.
Of the 8th, and it's time now for the Volkswagen replay, and it is all Kenta Maeda tonight. Dodger offense has supported him. A home run from Bellinger, and I'll tell you what, he has had the edges. Not always turning into strikeouts like we're seeing here, but some very nifty defense behind him and a lot of softly hit balls. And it brings a smile when you've got a shutout. Cody Bellinger shifting over to first, supplied some of the power.
And Scott Van Slyke fresh up from AAA today in left. So a little bit better defensive lineup out there as Bellinger replaces Utley at first. And for the first time in his major league career, Kenta Maeda into the 8th inning. Having only thrown 77 pitches, a complete game very much a possibility at this point. Something that he did 28 times in his 8 years in Japan.
Remember, there in Japan, you only pitch once a week, so a little extra rest. And I would think that the quality of the hitter over there is a little weaker than here in the big leagues, when the whole world plays here.
Bottom third of the Pirates order. Max Moroff to lead off the inning. A breaking ball misses, 1-0. Hook to right. Puig goes back on it. Still running with room.
Shortstop number 10, Jordy Mercer.
So one gone, and here's Jordy Mercer. Oh for 2 today, 1 for 9 in this series. Grew up in Oklahoma playing baseball, playing basketball, and winning state championships, showing hogs in the state fair. Strike one. Went on to play college baseball at Oklahoma State. He was an All-American pitcher in addition to being a shortstop. Pirates drafted him as a shortstop, though, in the 3rd round. Lifts the fly ball to center. No big deal for Peterson. 2 up and 2 down in the 8th inning. Great Dodger Moments coin collection presented by 76 continues Thursday, May 18th against the Marlins. That opens up the next homestand. First 40,000 fans in attendance get a coin commemorating Kershaw's no-hitter. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions. The no-hitter came against the Rockies. He'll start against the Rockies Friday night. Chris Bostic making his major league debut in this series. Grant Dayton has started to warm as Maeda throws his 82nd pitch of the game. And it's outside, ball 1. He had started to warm, but they tell me Dayton has now stopped.
Only 5 pitches this inning, probably getting him up in case Kenta had a normal pitch inning around 15 or 17, but he is being absolutely the most efficient he has been all night. If he can record an out on a pitch or 2 here, be as low, but look at the 2nd inning, the 4th inning, the 5th inning. Wow. 6 and 7, not too far behind.
Two and one. We talked about his last outing, the line being good, but the stuff not. You can't throw 84 pitches in 8 innings of shutout baseball and not have the stuff be dialed in nicely.
Yeah, location, location, location. He hasn't thrown a ball over 91 miles an hour. So this is about movement and on the edges.
2-2.
Trying to sneak a fastball by him in a hitter's count right there. 89 with a little tail. You have to go back to 2013, April, to find a time when the Dodgers swept these Pirates. They've got a very good shot tonight.
Full count.
Don't be surprised if this is a slider. Confidence in everything tonight.
That's foul. Dodgers 4 outs away from a 5th consecutive win for the first time this year. It'd be their 10th win in their last 12. Rolling into an early season showdown against the Rockies. A deep breath from Maeda and another 3-2 pitch to Chris Bostic. Another foul ball.
Quinto's gone over a 100 pitch mark just once this year. Not his last start, but the one before that. 101. When you have this kind of efficiency, the wear and tear on your arm is not really that much compared to other nights when you're struggling. Command does really relate to your rhythm, and good rhythm is not a high impact on your body or your arm.
On the ground is short. Corey Seager. 8 shutout innings for Kenta Maeda. For the first time in his career, goes 8 full.
Be sure to stay with us for post-game Access Sportsnet Dodgers presented by Nissan. Alana and Nomar trying to put up with Jerry. Per usual, you don't want to miss it.
All right, Kelly. Dodgers with a 4-0 lead to the bottom of the 8th inning. And this is Johnny Barbado, who was acquired from the Yankees earlier this season. Big league debut last year. 3 games for the Pirates so far.
Adds to the velocity that can come out of Pittsburgh's bullpen. They're looking for guys that can get people out. Averages around 95 miles an hour. His out pitch is mainly his slider.
Faces the top of the Dodge order. Jock Peterson 0 for 3 in this one. Started him with a breaking ball. Strike 1. You're rechecking your scouting report after that pitch, huh?
He only throws the breaking ball about 5% of the time in a 2-strike count. Pitch usage, he throws it about 10% of the time. I don't know if it's been charted wrong, or maybe since coming over to Pittsburgh, they're going to ask him to throw that a little bit more. And that does happen when you come over. They will show you maybe some data that they wanted to look at and say, you know what, we really acquired you because of this pitch, and we need to see it a little bit more often.
Delivers 1-1. Jock pokes it foul. 1-2. Turner Ward and Cody Bellinger. Cody, another home run tonight. That makes 6 in his first 14 games as a big leaguer.
You talk about the offense being on a roll. What a roll that Turner Ward is on, with a little pressure off of him when he comes to the ballpark every day. He's had an offense that's been producing. A lot of guys feeling good about their swings. Advice that is clicking.
Bounce to second. Moroff gets Peterson. Dodgers, if this score were to hold, would have the #1 run differential in the National League. And run differential, one way to look at how a team's doing as opposed to just looking at the record. There can be some luck involved in wins and losses based on when those runs are scored, how they're dispersed. But some would argue that run differential is the best gauge of how good a team is once you have enough of a sample size. And at this point, I think it's a pretty decent amount, more than a month of the season. It's a ball on Seager. Two 2-0. 7-game road trip starting tomorrow. Dodgers will get into Denver late tonight, early tomorrow morning. And then send Hyun-Jin Ryu to the mound against Tyler Anderson. 5:40 Los Angeles time. Same time on Friday night, Clayton Kershaw, Tyler Chatwood. Seager drives one to the opposite field. Long run McCutchen still going, not going to get there. And Seager has a 1-out double.
Nice for Corey to get a hit here, and maybe his last at bat of this homestand. Going to Colorado and San Francisco, you'd like to get your best hitter hot. That ball dropping in, not being scorched out there, but hitting the exact right place to get out of McCutchen's reach. Maybe give Corey a little bit of a good feeling going on the road trip.
And McCutchen, the longtime center fielder for Pittsburgh last year by defensive runs saved, was the worst everyday fielder at any position in the majors. And so that's part of the reason why to start the season they had moved him off of center field. Ball one on Justin Turner. They had shifted the franchise player over to right and had Starling Marte in center, but of course Marte, the PED suspension, so they put McCutchen back in center. His first game back made a really nice defensive play, and cameras caught him saying, "This is my spot." Two 2-0.
The metrics coming back that he was the worst. That tells you a lot about maybe the fast twitch fibers going on in his body. He is slowing down, and is that what's happening at the plate? Why the bat is not catching up to good pitches and good fastballs that he could hit in any location before? Just a little clue.
And the other part of it was Pittsburgh, based on data, asked him last year to play shallower. Could have been part of the equation as well. A guy that had played much deeper for most of his career. 2-1 on Turner. Here it comes. Rides in on him, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
Cervelli not quitting. He wanted to pick off, or attempted pickoff of Corey Seager at second base right there. Moroff was trying to sneak in behind Seager. Stealing out.
Turner sitting dead red and getting a slider instead that bounces for ball 4, and they're at first and second with 1 out. As Cody Bellinger comes up, and we look at our Lexus plays of the game. It includes his 6th home run of the year, his first time out.
Opposite field bomb, and this one impressed his manager in a big way, not by the distance, but where he hit it. And then this one impresses even more everyone, especially Kenta Maeda, holding the shutout together. diving for a ball in left field, recording the out.
The home run was part of a 3-run first inning. They gave Kenta the cushion, and then the Dodgers got one more in the fourth. Then an RBI double from Chase Utley. Bullpen quiet. Kenta Maeda likely to head back out there to try and finish off his first big league complete game. Hard hit to first. Bell fields and spins, gets one there, but not close to in time at first. Fielder's choice keeps the inning alive. Now it's Grandal, who has reached all 3 times tonight.
Yasmani looks very comfortable in the box now, and he really shows his emotions when he is slumping, but right now he gets it in there and looks so locked in. Get that hitter stare. Every movement is very precise, and he is ready.
Ripped foul. Well, you talk about looking comfy.
Ready right from pitch 1. Almost like a guy looking for a fight, but it's not about that. It's not anger. It's just focus.
Nothing in 2. Seager at third. Bellinger at first. Grandal trying to add a little bit more insurance to this 4-0 lead. Barbado home with an 0-2 pitch. Grandal fouls it off. Seven-game trip, then they come home for a 10-game homestand. Marlins, Cardinals, Cubs all come in. Homestand starts May 18th, runs through the 28th. This series with the Cubs, highly anticipated. That's a weekend series, the 26th through the 28th, to finish off the homestand. Cubs reeling a little bit right now, though. Here's another 0-2. Grandal chops one over first and down the line. It's another 3-hit night for Grandal, capped off with a double. Bellinger stops at third. Seager in to score, and it's 5-0.
First pitch hits a bullet foul down the right field line. This one is a bullet, but it's hit straight down, and it's because it's hit so hard, it gets some height and gets himself a double down that right field line. Slightly embarrassed, but satisfied.
And 8 for 13 in this series. Second and third, 2 gone, and Chris Taylor. Kenta staying loose to go back out there for the 9th inning. Strike one.
He's not fidgeting. That's not nerves on the bench for Kenta. He moves an awful lot in between innings. If he feels any kind of tension or stiffness coming on, he actually has something that he would want to do that's precise to get himself loose.
Oh, and 2 on Taylor. Back-to-back fastballs from Barbado.
The fun exercise from Kenta is the one where he starts waving his arms like he's doing the strokes and swimming. He looks like he's going to dislocate his shoulders as he does it. We see it a lot pregame out in the outfield when he's stretching.
I actually dislocate mine watching him do that. It's gone hard stuff so far. Now gets him with a slider. But the Dodgers add one here in the 8th, and Kenta Maeda out to try and get a complete game shutout when you come back. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Go to RBIGame.com. Kenta Maeda looking for his first career complete game. This is the first time he's gone into the 8th. Now make it the 9th.
A trickle-down effect could happen because of this game. Dodgers having a very full rotation. 6 or 7 guys that could be in the rotation. Well, with Kenta, if he finishes this one off, there probably will be an extra day's rest in his future. So Dave Roberts, Rick Honeycutt in the front office will decide how they want to manage the rotation according to this great outing, and fantastic for the Dodgers to have a rested bullpen going into Colorado.
Just in case Grant Dayton gets loose. That added run in the bottom of the 8th inning might not seem like a big deal, but now one swing can't tie the game. Strike one on Josh Harrison. So Maeda's now thrown 90 pitches. Just for reference sake, over the last year plus, the fewest pitches in a complete game shutout, 94. Ball and a strike. Ricky Nolasco did that for the Angels back August 31st last year. One and two. Pirates in danger of dropping their 4th in a row, 8th of their last 11. It is shaping up to be a really long year for Pittsburgh. They are in last in the Central. I mentioned the Cubs coming in the next homestand. Cubs have lost 5 of 6. You know they're in 4th place in the Central right now?
Wow.
Cardinals, Reds, Brewers, Cubs, Pirates. Harrison got a piece to stay alive. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
Really a special night for Kenta. He can finish this off. What an accomplishment. Complete game is getting more and more of a rarity at the big league level.
Harrison digs that one off of the plate. It's foul.
28 of these gems in Japan when he was over there. This would be his first in the MLB. And everything that he put all the work in this offseason, getting stronger and getting off to such a rough start, and then to turn it around here in the last 3 outings. He and Will, his interpreter, and his manager Dave Roberts will have smiles on their faces for at least 4 or 5 days.
7th pitch of this AB to Josh Harrison, leading off the 9th.
It's not going to be easy. He's got the guy that really had his number tonight of all the Pirate hitters. And Harrison making it tough on him, not just going to go quietly into the night.
Harrison, 2 of the 3 Pirates hits in this one. Another 1-2. And a base hit to left. And Kent immediately taking a peek into the dugout. Harrison with a 3-hit night. 97 pitches deep now.
Number 29, Francisco Cervelli.
A little more rope with Kenta Dave Roberts has. 97 pitches, a full rested bullpen, a lot of starters that can pitch. Kenta's still looking over there like, is it okay? Can I keep going?
Only 3 times in his career before tonight had he completed 7 innings in the big leagues. Never had pitched into the 8th, let alone the 9th. Well, the man at first and nobody out, Francisco Cervelli corks one towards the left field corner. It's gone. And puts a sour taste in Maeda's mouth at the very least. Suddenly this is a 3-run game.
Such a good feeling before this inning started, and goals and aspirations, but now Kenley Jansen is up, and there's a different tone to this inning. And I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a delay here to make sure that Kenley can get ready. He had been up before Cervelli came to the plate. As he walked to the plate, Kenley had thrown about 3 or 4 pitches, and I think that'll probably be Kenta's last pitch. See what Dave Roberts decides to do. Stay with him for one more hitter.
It's McCutchen. Outside ball 1. Remember, McCutchen has gone deep twice against Maeda in 6 career meetings. 1-1 on his 100th pitch of the evening. Two and one.
You dig down deep. Probably thinks he's only got one more hitter. You finish it off. Try and get that feeling of those smiles that you had throughout 8 innings.
Strike 2. Did dig deep and put a fastball by McCutchen.
The shock of the home run, the disappointment of without the shutout, no complete game, but your manager still trusts you emotionally to lock in and get the job done, no matter how long you have left.
Count goes full. Only 4 Ks from Maeda tonight. Didn't walk anybody. Pirates getting their first 2 runs here in the 9th inning. 5 hits total against the right-hander from Japan. Trying to finish his night on a high note. He deserves it. Home with a 3-2. And he gets McCutchen swinging. Here comes Dave Roberts. Can't help but have a smile break. Maeda won't even look at him yet. He knows what's coming. A career best 8 1/3 for Kenta. Here in the ninth with a 2-run homer from Cervelli, but overall this is one Kenta can be so proud of.
Get a little punch in the gut at the end, but tomorrow morning when he wakes up, this game gets finished off by Grant Dayton, maybe even Kenley Jansen. He will feel very good about where he is this year in 2017. And so will the Dodgers feel really good if they can nail down this sweep.
So Dayton comes in a 5-2 game with the bases empty, and Gregory Polanco with 1 out. You know, there have only been 13 complete games total in the majors this year, only 7 complete game shutouts. Maeda was that close to adding to those numbers. Polanco 0 for 3, 1 for 8 in this series. Dayton misses up with his first one. One and one. A tall outfielder for the Pirates, who once was a pitching prospect himself. He wanted to be an outfielder, though. When he finally got an offer to play the outfield from the Pirates, he hugged the scout that offered him. Slashes this ball to left center field. Scott Van Slyke there, 2 gone. So 1 out away from finishing off their 3rd sweep out of the last 4 series, from winning a 5th in a row, from winning a 10th out of the last 12. 8 1/3 for that man tonight. Matches Clayton Kershaw for the longest outing by a Dodger this year. Josh Bell, last hope for the Pirates, and Dayton starts him with a pitch high. This would, by the way, be the first save of Grant Dayton's career. It's 1 and 1. Came in with a 3-run cushion. And so he does qualify. Popped up into right. Yasiel Puig. And the Dodgers have swept another. Kenta Maeda, career best 8 1/3 tonight. For the first time this year, the Dodgers have won 5 in a row. They've won 10 of 12, and they are rolling into a big early season series with the Rockies.
A short homestand where over 125,000 witnessed this sweep of the Pirates. 3 W's, a run differential, and 3 games of 21-6.
And Maeda earns the rosin back to the chest from Yasiel Puig. For Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. We'll talk to you from Denver tomorrow night, 5:30 local time. Stay tuned for Access Sports Now, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers after this 5-2 Dodger win.